A lot of people know exactly what to do. They just don't know why they don't do it. I'm very proud of what I built, but I'm not proud of who I am. Most people don't know that they're performing to get to a purpose instead of defining a purpose that they now perform. I help them reveal who they are and why they're here.
For too long, entrepreneurs and business owners have been told they have to choose between profit and purpose. If you're tired of burning out, done chasing someone else's version of success, and ready to grow with more purpose, prosperity, and peace of mind, you're in the right place. Because every business has the potential to do good and do well. I'm Chase Friedman, and this is In Pursuit of Purpose, where strategy meets soul.
There's a strange moment in growth in life and business that no one's really preparing us for. And it's usually not in the beginning. It's not in the breakthrough either. It's the moment in between when you're still figuring things out, when that version of you that got you here starts to feel misaligned, maybe even too small for where you're going. And for a while, that version of you worked really well. And in some cases, got you to where you've always thought you wanted to be. But then you might start to hit a little bit of burnout where things don't quite feel aligned like they used to. This might be what helped you get to where you are, but it might not be the same version of you and the same mindset that's going to get you to where you want to go now. Today, we're talking about outgrowing who you used to be and rebuilding your life, your leadership, your business from a place that feels more aligned, more honest, more complete, more balanced with who you were designed to be. That's where this conversation with Jamie Grace really lands. Jamie is a transformational advisor, educator, founder of the School of Original Design and Medicine for the People. She's got a background in molecular and cellular biology, advanced training in neuroscience, psychology, trauma-informed transformation, and human development, right? So she's bringing all these disciplines and these tools of her toolbox together, science, faith, practical wisdom, to help people find and become the best version of themselves. And she has been working with me for many years. I am grateful for the transformation she has been able to help me achieve in my life. And I want to bring this to the listeners to hopefully get something, a point of inspiration, an aha moment, a wake up to looking at things in a slightly different way. So yes, this is me sharing my therapy session with you, and hopefully it's just as useful, if not more. Jamie, it is an honor and pleasure to have you here with me today. Thank you for being on the show. And I've been delaying the inevitable because you're probably one of the first people I ever wanted to interview when I decided to start this podcast. I just needed to warm up and hone my craft before getting up the confidence to kind of ask you to join and share the amazing work that you do and that you do with and for me. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
It's my honor. This is the fact that we're even here right now today is that is my heart's greatest desire. Is to just see you in your craft, in your purpose.
Well, like I said, you have helped me arrive here. As I shared in the intro, you are very much, I don't know any other way how to put it, like a soul coach for me. And I have been through many seasons and chapters of my life and my business, some dark and ugly and scary, and some shining and bright. But you've been that one constant that has helped me arrive where I am today. And there is no end, right? This is a continued journey. But I thought it was only appropriate that I got to share your wisdom and your insight and your guidance with others that may be at various seasons and chapters of their life and their career. And so we're going to dig deep as we always do. And as I told you before we started this is selfishly just really personal therapy session for me. So if anyone else listening would like to take any tips from it, that's great too. But again, it's wonderful to have you here. So I've told so many people in my life about you and the work that you do and the work that we do together. And I think I probably butcher it and I probably describe it in many different ways, but I want to hear it from you, right? For people that are meeting you for the first time, how do you describe the work that you do and who do you feel most called to serve?
This has actually been an ongoing inner conversation for me. How do I
Perfect.
describe what I do? And I think I've arrived upon one statement that fits everything pretty succinct. I teach people how to use their mind appropriately. What that really means is that there's a lot of things that we don't know about ourselves. We don't understand why we do the things that we do. And we also don't understand why we aren't in the place that we want to be. It's beyond mindset. It's beyond understanding how to emotionally regulate. It's beyond understanding how to get from point A to point B. It's beyond figuring out your purpose. It's how to integrate all of that together. And so a lot of the people that come to me, it's not that they don't know what to do. A lot of people know exactly what to do. They just don't know why they don't do it. And so what I help people do is understand more about how the mind actually governs the body, your behaviors, your impulses, your compulsions, why your tendencies are born the way they are, how they impact you, and most importantly, how to reprogram it from the foundations. So I don't believe in behavioral modification. I don't believe that willpower gets us to our destined places. In fact, if you really look at your life, it doesn't. It gets you from point A to point 8.2. It never gets you to point B because you're doing it by force, not by alignment. And so even that word alignment needs to be unpacked like, well, what does that mean? Well, I have an idea for my life. I have goals. I have this person that I really want to be. But then I have all these 23 other people that show up instead of that one person that I want to be. How do I arrange that to fit in the same place? How do my words match my thoughts, match my behaviors, match my actions, match my choices? And so we got to unpack all that. We got to uncover all of it, realign it, and restore it to what I call an original design. And so a lot of people that come to me are in between two parts of their life. They've done everything they can to get to this point. I work with a lot of successful people, a lot of people that have done probably more achievements in 10 years than most people do in 10 lifetimes. They're very driven. Growth is not an issue. In fact, discipline is usually not an issue either. And if they are undisciplined, it's usually in an area they've been avoiding their entire life. So what I do is I help them dig much deeper than therapy ever does, much deeper than a personal development course ever would, much deeper than they've been in most conversations, because sometimes we just don't know how to ask the right questions.
There's this phrase, this line that you use that I think is extremely powerful, and I want you to unpack for me and for everyone listening. I've heard you say, you are not broken, you're just out of design. What does that mean?
So I would be willing to bet that most of humanity has asked themselves the question, what's wrong with me? Am I messed up? Is there something wrong with my brain? Am I crazy? So we've all asked this question of what's off here. And the thing is that a person can carry a broken idea. You can even carry a broken picture of yourself. You can carry a belief that breaks part of your life. You can carry a brokenness in an area of your life. You may not carry a brokenness in business, but you can carry a brokenness in relationships. But notice that it's a broken idea or it's an incomplete picture of some sort. So the person themselves is not what is broken. It is their relationship to their design. Now, we're going to define design for a second.
Good. You beat me to
it. So let's say that, like all things that are made and created in this world, everything has a blueprint. Everything has something that was the original design that came with instructions, formation, function. It was structure. And there was a written code in this computer. There's a written code in your phone. There was even a written code in how somebody designed like a wooden table in their mind. They understood functionality. They understood, okay, if I want to build this thing, it's got to look like this. It's got to be made out of this material. It's got to have these legs to hold it up. It's got to withstand 6 people pounding their fist on the table. So it's got to be strong. So everything has code written behind it. Everything has structure, functionality, and operation capacity. People do too. And so if you look at what is behind a person, what is behind them is the one who designed them. So whether for you are in search of that, or whether you understand that there's a creator or there's an author or there's a life giver or there is God. Something is behind the design of you. And so when you come into this world, you have a capacity, you have potential, and you have, as far as your design is in its most complete form, able to take you in this world. Why most people don't actually get to experience that is because of the broken ideas that they carry throughout their life that don't make it possible for them to actually even experience themselves like that. So there's this gap of I should be more, I should be doing more. I know I've done this, but like it doesn't feel like it's enough. It just feels like there's something in me that I can't explain. And like my life now looks like a fraction of it, even though I've done a lot of things. It's because there is more.
You mean there's other people that think this too? This is very meta right now. I just want you to echo this again. This is a common
This is
train of
very
thought and
powerful.
operation of thinking. You're not alone out there. So, how is one to know when something is quote unquote broken and misaligned, right? I mean, I think we're really good at disguising it, at ignoring it, at putting our heads down and just pushing through and pushing forward because if not, we're weak, we're vulnerable, we're admitting defeat, we're surrendering, which, by the way, we'll come back to. I used to think was a dirty word, but now I love this word. So, when someone comes to you, perhaps in a major life or leadership transformation or transition, what are they usually feeling, right? What are the indicators? What are the signs? What are the symptoms that something is needing to be reprogrammed or upgraded in this code for where they're going?
It's a great question. I don't think most people know what is driving them in that moment of their life, but what they do have is a big problem that they can't fix. They have a big problem where they've tried everything that they can think of because most of the time the leaders are, I'm going to fix it myself. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to willpower it. Fine. I'll read whatever book I have to. I'll change my diet. I'll do what my wife was needing me to do for years. Okay, all right, I'll get sober. All right, I got it. Why do I still feel terror when I wake up in the morning? Please help me with that. Why is it that I still feel anxiety when I try to go to sleep? Why is it that I can't control my temper still? I don't understand. Why is it that this still happens in my life? I thought I changed this. I thought I did that practice. I thought I read that book. I went to the conference. I did the 12 step. I did this. I don't understand. And so most of the time, because I work with a lot of leaders, they come to me incredibly frustrated, very frustrated, very like hands up in the air. I don't care. What do I have to do? I'm ready because I don't know. And so the first place that people come to is like, I don't know. That's a very bold place for a leader to come to because that admits vulnerability.
Yeah.
It admits you didn't have the answer. It admits that you don't even know where to go from here. And so from that place, you could do a lot.
Well, I think it's important to have someone or something that can hold space for you to receive that message. Because I don't think for most people in any position, let alone founders, leaders, entrepreneurs, which can be a very isolating and lonely endeavor in reality, who am I going to go to with that? Right? Who am I going to go to and raise my hand and say, I need help? I don't know. I'm uncertain. I'm scared. Something's not working. Because all that we see from an audience standpoint is strength and confidence and clarity. And I got it all figured out and it's effortless, right? It's very easy to share that message. And that's very much the reason why I want to have these conversations on this show is to demystify that and pull back the curtain behind that. And you get the inside glimpse working with these high powered leaders. And I think just the knowing that there is a way and a space to say, it's okay. I don't have it all figured out. I do need help. I do need some reprogramming from where I'm going. What are some of these recurring patterns, like specifically that might show up in leaders or founders or high performing people? Is it physical characteristics? Is it emotional? Is it behavioral? Are there certain things that you see across the board that are sort of common traits or behaviors that maybe we could look at within ourselves and say, oh, maybe I do have some of these things and maybe it is worth a closer look.
That's a great question. Some of the common ones I see is performance orientation. So, is it good enough? Am I doing enough? Was it impactful enough? Is it enough? Am I enough? And the perpetual inner conversation that doesn't necessarily test the product or the service they're developing itself. It more has to do with them as a leader. Am I being enough for my organization? Am I being enough for my family? Am I doing enough? Am I letting these people down? Am I being a disappointment? Am I leading them the wrong way? Oh my God, are they going to blame me? Am I just full of it? Am I fake? Am I thinking too much of myself? So the performance tends to be very common. Number two, burnout. And usually that shows up an underlying either subtle anxiety where they can't turn off, or an anxiety that turns into restlessness. They can't sit still. They don't want to sit down and write down their ideas. They'd rather just walk around with them. They're up at night. They can't turn their brain off. They have a difficult time sleeping. Sometimes it manifests physically for them. I hear a common, my favorite time in the morning, Jamie, is in the morning when nobody's awake and when nobody's bothering you. It's interesting. You mean when nobody needs you? Yeah,
Right.
nobody needs me.
Maybe before the kids wake, before the sun rises. Yeah. How often do you hear that high performing business leaders getting up at ungodly hours early in the morning? Now, again, early bird gets the worm. I get that, and I'm all for it. Even though I'm not wired to be a morning person, I aspire to be. But there's something to that. I mean, I think getting up in that time and place where the world is still sleeping and you can maybe breathe easy, where there is no expectation and email blowing up and something kind of needing fixing. It's a very tranquil and peaceful time. Which, by the way, for anyone keeping track at home, I'm check marking all of these. I don't know if you can see it. I have checks on all the things you just said. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. All those things hit home. So what are we to do about it? If we've operated this way our entire lives, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, like, and it's validated because, hey, it's gotten us to where we want to be. Look, on paper, successful, doing all the things, big company, making money, check, 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 check. Can't be broken. It's working, right? Like, how do you unplug from that? How do you get someone to realize and admit that there might need to be a course correction, A, and then B, to relinquish and let go of some of that programming that's got them there in the first place, if it's worked according to their measure of success?
Well, a lot of the times you don't know that something isn't working until it crashes and burns. You could be told all you want, and the subtle signs and symptoms can show up in arguments and in tension between you and people. The doctor could be, your blood pressure again. We're here. What medication? I have to put you on medication now. You can have these subtle symptoms, but until there's a lot of high functioning people that go until they hit an actual wall. And so instead of seeing the symptoms and the signs way before the crash and burn, it usually takes a crash and burn to even see that something isn't working. Because until something gives you feedback or a full stop, you're going to keep going, because that's part of the design of an entrepreneur or a leader or a founder, is that I'm going until it's done. And so what happens in that moment right there is that you have to come to the conclusion that there may be more to you and there may be more to how you can get things done than how you previously did. And part of the work is not becoming less of yourself. And I think that's a misconception, is that people think, oh my God, I'm going to have to give this up. I've been a fighter my whole life. No, really, I fought for this company, but I also pushed everybody in my life away. And I'm tired and I'm disconnected from my kids. And I don't have the life that I really want internally, because I'm very proud of what I built, but I'm not proud of who I am. And so part of that is recognizing that this whole process isn't about deleting yourself. This is about discovering that there's way more to you, that you don't have to remove fierce and bold from your life to pick up gentleness and grace, that you don't have to stop being that ox in the field But you do have to have times where you know how to recover, and you know how to be still, and you know how to be introspective, and you know how to be present. So it's not becoming less of yourself, it's actually becoming far more of yourself. And so I think people need to understand that this is not a process that's going to eliminate the good things that got you here. This is now grabbing onto a mosaic picture of yourself that you didn't know existed.
The key, the challenge, and the confusion and sometimes paralysis might be knowing what to release and let go of and what to carry forward. Because as you've said, this is not like a light switch moment. This isn't a scrap the old code or rewriting from scratch. I think there's assurance knowing that some things must die, some pieces of me must be shed and taken out of my backpack, and some things get to be carried forward, and maybe new things learned along the way. And so, how do you go about navigating that, sorting that, identifying what stays, what goes?
If the picture of success looks like there was life to the whole thing, meaning nothing had to break in order for me to build, it means that I didn't have to sacrifice my marriage for my company. I didn't have to sacrifice sleep for sanity. I didn't have to give up good health for $1 billion year. And so part of that is understanding your life can have all of it, but some of the ways you've been handling it can't. You can't approach it like this anymore. Your methodology has to change. The structure of how you give your attention needs to shift. The way you consider your own identity and your own connections, and how it is that you think that rest is somehow hindering progress, except rest itself is how you leap beyond the mundane. It's how you actually get perspective and wisdom around what's wasting your time in truth and what is the most effective ways to use your time, given that you want a full life. Now, I can't speak to everybody because some people consider success in one dimension, but success is holistic in truth, because you could be a successful entrepreneur and completely unsuccessful spiritually. And at the end, if everything falls apart, if the market crashes, if your health falls, what is there? So we don't want to just consider success one dimensionally. We need to see the whole architecture of a person. And so when a person gets that viewpoint, they start to realize, I see why I have burnout. I see why I have anxiety. I see why I had cycles of depression. I get it. Because the way I was functioning wasn't supporting where I want to go. I get it now. Now that is the stuff that starts to fall. But that means that every time that something dies, you recognize that there's a part of you that didn't even have permission to extend itself out into the world. You didn't know you could be such a gentle person. But that doesn't mean that you don't take care of business, because now you have a gentleness working with people.
Why do we continue to see it in this binary? Like, we can't possibly have that balance if we're going to build something worthwhile. Delaying gratification. Well, I'll enjoy it and I'll enjoy myself and I'll slow down and I'll rest and I'll sleep when I'm dead and I'll spend more time with my family once I get to this level and or exit my company. Why does it have to constantly be this sacrifice, right? Usually in one or more areas of our lives for the, I would just say, sort of common cultural prescription of success on paper. Because for me, my mission is for people to see that you can do good and do well. You can take care of yourself and your life and have a successful, thriving, growing business. You can put yourself first. You can build a business that supports the life and lifestyle you want to live versus the other way around, right? Because having come from the other side of it and hitting rock bottom, it becomes this aha moment like, well, why the fuck didn't anyone stop me before and say, wait a minute, you can choose your own path. It's almost romanticized the things that you sacrificed and lost along the way to get to where you want to go, right? Like, it's not as sexy or as bold and daring and iconoclastic if you haven't like bled for it. I mean, that makes for a great film and great movie, but for like real life, everyday life, like maybe not the most sustainable path.
And is it within reason to assume you will sacrifice on your way to success? Always.
Sure.
It's not that sacrifice itself is what our problem is. It's to the degree of sacrifice. In what area do we sacrifice? What do I not consider costly to my health, costly to my relationships, costly to the benefit of what I'm building and how I'm going to be able to hold on to that thing that I'm building? We don't consider those costs. There are costs that give you credit in your life, and there are costs that just give you deficit. And so we have to realize that some of the costs that we're paying are just straight up deficits. You don't have to approach it that way. Now, I could say that just out of observation, I think the American dream has led to American hustle culture. You can disagree with me, you can agree with me, but
I
what I
won't
do,
disagree with you.
because some people, they love the hustle. I love the hustle myself. So I get it. And the benefits to the hustle are that you get the immediate gratification of knowing that you can put your whole effort into something and produce it quickly. Or like a proud, like, look what I did. Look what I sacrificed. Look what I gave up. Like, yeah, and all my badges. And that's wonderful. And you want to be proud of yourself. But I believe that the problem is that the American hustle culture consciousness is so unholistic, it's unwell, that it's not designed for the way people are designed. It's designed for a system that we design. And so if you design a system, the people have to sustain the system. And so if you put competition into a society, which is good, what you also have to build around it is a system that takes care of the people that are in competition. You don't have a system in the society that takes care of the people. You don't have a system that takes care of the medical professionals, the therapists, the teachers, the first responders. You don't have people that check on the entrepreneurs. You don't have people that go, hey, buddy, how are you really? They're like, oh, how are you doing in your business? What are you doing this quarter? Like, what product are you working on right now? Like, what is it like? Like, come on, tell me what you're doing. So we celebrate the doingness and the achievement, which is bravo. But we don't check in with the person who's doing the achievement to be like, are you good? Like, are you really good?
No, 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 I'm fine. No, everything's fine. Look what I just did. Clearly, everything's fine.
Right.
What would
Right.
you say to someone who's perhaps venturing out on their own for the first time? Let's say they've had a lifelong career in sort of corporate America or a traditional job, stable job, but they feel this burning kind of desire of something, wanting something more, having a bit of freedom, having a bit of autonomy, getting into entrepreneurship or consulting or coaching, like a first time founder. And what would you say to them, kind of this cautionary tale we've been talking about, to help them build in a more holistic and a more balanced way? Because I think I've spoken to a lot of friends and family that have transitioned from operating with one mindset and one behavior, working, a traditional job, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, etc. It's not just a shift in career, it's a complete shift in identity and mindset to do something on your own for the very first time. And I think the natural inclination is, shit, I gotta grind, I gotta hustle, I gotta be working more than I ever did before. I've gotta no sleep because it's all on me now. It's all on my shoulders, and again, guilty as charged at times. But I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday about it, who is about 3 months into his own consulting career. And he's telling me how he's just burning himself out already. He's working these crazy hours more than he ever had. And I had to kind of remind him what it was all for, why he left his position in the first place. So what do people need to hear that hopefully gives them a bit of trust and assurance in themselves? You can achieve what you're seeking. You can have that success and that growth, but you can also do it on your own terms and your own pace and your own race. What do those people need to hear?
I think it's twofold, what I would say. One is mechanical and one is spiritual. So the mechanical speaking is we rise to the level of our structures. So you define your terms. If you don't know that you're defining your time, your energy, your space with people, your morning routine, the food that you put in your body, if you don't know that you're actually charged, then you follow what you believe must be done rather than what you authored to be done. And whatever you build in the beginning, you have to sustain it. So whatever protocols you establish is what's going to sustain you. So if you put them in place in the beginning and say, hey, I'm going to devote this much. And in these seasons, I'm willing to devote this much more. But as soon as I see that I'm having that problem or this problem or this problem, we immediately go back and redefine our boundaries and our protocols. But then you say, but I can't, but what if, and they're all counting on me. And it's just like, listen, that's not going to end. It won't, because the structures that I set in place are the ones that my life has to produce. So if I have no boundaries on my time, it's not that I'm going to keep going until somebody says, oh, you can take a break now. Oh, go on, take a break. We're not going to ask you any more questions right now. No, they're going to keep coming. There's not going to be a time nor a place that you're going to get to that you can finally go, oh God, oh, I could finally rest and take a break. You're joking. You just signed up for the marathon. You have to be your nurse. You have to be that person that puts your own protocols in place. If you feel indebted or in burden, take another second to realize that like the decisions are in your hands, and whatever you define is what you're going to walk out, is what you're going to make room for. That's it. So it's like you're going to rise to the level of your structure. Number one. Number two, it's much more spiritual. There's a principle that says whatever you build and you author, you must sustain. But whatever God puts in you and God authors, God sustains. So that means that there will be a grace given to you. If it's part of your calling, if it's part of what you're here for, if it was put in you, in your heart, to go pursue this thing, and you know that it is something that you get to do because it was planted in you, be sure that you will be given grace to do it. And if it's part of your design that rest and stillness are involved, then be sure that rest and stillness will be involved in your pursuit of purpose.
I mean, it's in the title of this show, but I talk obviously a lot about finding and discovering and developing and leveraging one's purpose in life and business. What do the two have to do with each other, in your opinion, right? What does purpose have to do with performance and vice versa? I'll keep beating this drum until my last breath, but I know there's a lot of eye roll and sort of dismissal of that because it's not concrete. It's not like, how do we measure that? How do we build blocks from that? But obviously, I feel purpose is integral and intertwined with performance, and one begets the other. How do you go about guiding, helping others see their truest potential, their truest purpose, and how that translates for them in terms of performance in all aspects of their lives?
That's a fantastic question. I think most people don't know that they're performing to get to a purpose instead of defining a purpose that they now perform.
Got it backwards, got it twisted.
You got to twist it. If I just do more and be more and build more and create more and have more people in my network and have more in my net worth, surely I'm in my purpose, right? Because I'm building things. Like surely like people are benefiting. This must be exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, right? You and I've talked about this before. Without a vision, people suffer. So you do have to start in the unseen, in the untangible, to even be inspired to put something physical in your life. And so if it's what somebody handed you and they said, here's a great way to make money, and there's nothing in you that like sparks with it. Okay, great. I have no doubt that that is the way to make money. A lot of different ways to make money out here, but there's got to be something that sparks inherently inside of you that can actually connect your own personal why with what that money making method is, or what that thing that you want to build is. Something in you has to actually connect where you care. It's important. It has a mark on your life in some way. Because if you go and pursue it and you don't care enough, it doesn't impact you enough. On those days when you wake up, you will drag yourself out of bed. You will not be inspired. You will not be fully in. You will have to keep re-enrolling yourself over and over and over. Like, God, how much longer? How much longer? Where are we going? That's not a good feeling.
The reminder that sometimes we need to redefine and rebuild our identity around a purpose if there wasn't one there before to get to that next level. And that requires slowing down, and that requires turning inwards, and that requires asking difficult and deep questions. And something you said just a bit before, or you kind of alluded to, it reminds me of a phrase that you tell me all the time, which at first when I heard it, I was like, Jamie, you're crazy. That makes no sense whatsoever. But I repeat it to myself quite a bit. It's that you sometimes have to slow down to speed up, or slow down before you speed up. And I think a lot of people, that sounds like maybe antithetical, but if you're willing to put in that time and give yourself that space, not only are you doing your deepest, arguably, and best, most flow state thinking and work, but you're discovering something that maybe you've been sort of ignoring or glossing over for so long. And once you find it, it'll just continue to pay dividends and help you grow to, I think, levels beyond where you could have imagined. But it takes that putting your foot on the brake pedal just a little bit, which we're trained to think, no, don't you dare stop when you have all this momentum. You're crazy. You're going to fall behind. You're going to be obsolete. You're going to be left in the dust. So I just want that to land around slowing down, asking, answering, contemplating, because that investment in yourself with time will pay infinite dividends down the road.
100%. It's very paradoxical, but when you put it into practice, it makes perfect sense, because suddenly your thoughts aren't running you anymore from that place. And you can see your decisions are easier. You don't get stuck or wrapped up in an argument or dramatic moment when you slow down. You can see clearly from a 30,000 foot view rather than a 3-foot view in the mud. You have to go to the mountain.
It's a good view. So we've just touched on purpose, and it's the final and last question that I like to ask everyone that comes on this show. And I used to just kind of ask it openly. What is your purpose? But I believe now there needs to be a bit of a filter and a context to it. And so I'm going to ask you, in a sentence, in a phrase, in a thought, what do you feel is your purpose, parentheticals, in this season, in this chapter of your life?
Ooh, I like the way that you edify that. In this season, because most people are like, I have to figure it out for good.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us, we do kind of walk in alignment every season with that. I have actually found that no matter what season I am, my purpose still remains.
Bring that, and then bring, if you want, an addendum of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout my time and what God has revealed to me, I'm here to bring freedom to people. Freedom from and freedom towards. I'm also here to teach people how to live in wholeness, wellness, and purpose, which means that I'm here to, in my own self, govern wisdom, harmony, and mastery. So what does that mean for this season? Well, I'm building a school. I'm building a transformation school with courses because I have so much over the years that I want to scale and give to people so that they can study and they can walk themselves through the pathway that I've been walked through for almost 10 years. And so I come from a lot of different backgrounds. I've walked the personal development, the leadership development, the psychological healing, the energy healing. I've been in spiritual mentorship for years. I've done psychedelic therapy. Like I've done all the things, and I realized, wow, there's an intersection here. So instead of people cherry picking, why don't I just give them the blueprint of how we work? It'll save people a lot of time, because it's not about like getting a quick fix. It's about becoming, and it's about revealing. And so part of what it is that I help people do, and I'm so clear about this, is that I help them reveal who they are and why they're here.
I am a testimonial to that statement. I can validate, for anyone listening, I can validate what Jamie just said. No BS. That is truth bomb. And this is where it gets gushy and emotional, but you've done all those things for me, and I'm forever grateful. And I think it's a gift for anyone getting to listen to this and get a little bit of a taste, sip the Kool-Aid, but the rest of it is delicious. And so I want everyone to know you, interact with you, reach out to you in any capacity. But thank you for all that you've done for me and helping me find that clarity. And it is very much, without that, we wouldn't be having this conversation on this podcast. So this is very much a byproduct of that work and of that journey. So maybe we should just kind of put your name as a co-host on the bottom of it. Spiritually sponsored by Jamie Grace.
You are doing what you're made for.
I'm grateful. It's a fun ride. So thank you for taking the time, sharing your wisdom, your insight, and onwards to be continued. Thanks for listening to In Pursuit of Purpose. If this episode helped you, please follow the show, leave a quick review, and maybe even share it with someone who's been building something meaningful of their own. And remember, you are more than ready for this next step. Head over to my website at chaseryanfriedman.com, and you can start building your own purpose positioning strategy, explore free resources, and even find more inspiration for the road ahead. I'm Chase Friedman. Onwards.